Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on where you are, what time you are listening to this. My name is Winston Henderson, and this is the very first episode in the Revenue Alignment podcast. Definitely excited to have you guys here. And I'm just going to share some things with you in terms of, why I started a podcast, the mission behind it, and so on, just to give you guys an idea of where I'm really coming from and why I decided to do this in the first place. So I spent the last almost 4 years getting to know marketers at all levels, from entry level marketers just leaving university with no experience in marketing and starting their first marketing job, all the way up to the CMOs and the heads of marketing. So I've surveyed over the past 2 3 years. I've surveyed over 100 marketers, had several marketing leaders on conversation with marketers, which is another podcast that I started. Spent hours on Zoom calls with marketers who reached out to me for advice, and several more hours having casual conversation with marketers and what they struggle with in their roles, and also spend a lot of time just observing conversations that marketers are having on LinkedIn. What are marketers talking about, their concerns and their challenges? When I look at all the insights gathered over the last 3 to 4 years, both qualitatively and quantitatively, one of the things I've realized is when you really put it all together, there's one thing today, all marketers, I don't care what form of marketing you do, I don't care if you B2B, B2C, D2C, if you do it online or offline, whether you're just starting out or you're a CMO in a company, all marketers struggle with the same things. Really, it's just one thing, if you really think about it, and that's how to prove their value to their CEO and organizations, so they can, first of all, get bigger budgets and resources that they need to execute. And secondly, to get the creative freedom to execute the type of marketing initiatives they really want to. So unlike other podcasts that I've started, the reason why I'm so driven and so passionate about this one is that it serves to address a specific problem and a specific challenge that all of us, including myself, have struggled with or continue to struggle with throughout our marketing careers. That's really one side of the coin in terms of what we struggle with as marketers. But there's the other side of the coin where here's a problem I've seen, which is rather than focusing, rather than us as marketers focusing on solutions, I find that most marketers tend to focus on blaming and complaining. They use terms such as CEOs don't get marketing, or don't work for a CEO who doesn't get marketing. And everyone give these types of comments a round of applause, cheers, and a ton of engagement. But then when I speak to most of these marketers and I ask them, hey, what marketing activities are you currently executing? And I'll get answers such as, PR, we're starting a podcast, we write blog posts, we do some SEO, we build our community on Slack. I say, all right, no problem, fine, that's good. But then I'll ask, what metrics are you using to measure those activities? And I get a typical response such as, we're looking at reach, visibility, engagement, ebook downloads, brand awareness, Google rankings, web traffic, brand sentiment. And in some very rare cases, I'll get lead generation as a response, right? But then I'll ask, how are you keeping track of those metrics? Now, this is where it gets tricky because most marketers don't have a system in place to track these metrics, or they'll give an answer such as, well, most of these activities can't be measured and shouldn't be measured anyway. Then with somewhat of a confused look on my face, I'll finally ask them, how is what you're doing tied to driving revenue or other business outcomes for the company? Then I'll hear, well, we're focused on brand and building brand or building a community, Or, well, it takes a while for marketing to kick in, so it's going to take months to see the impact of what we're really doing. And in that moment, that's when I know they're in trouble. And the reason why I say that is you're not going to be able to make the business case for why you should get more budget based on, well, it takes a while for marketing to kick in, or some things in marketing just can't be measured. Guys, I'm gonna tell you something. From my experience working directly with CEOs of startups, as well as since I started freelancing and having direct conversation with CEOs, and one of the things in terms of why they struggle to really understand or to see marketing's value. The last thing any CEO or even CFO wants to hear is that you aren't able to measure what it is that you're doing, or marketing is something that just can't be measured, or it's going to take a while for it to kick in. Like, they don't want to hear that. But one of the things I find is that most marketers don't want to hear that. They want to stick in, well, this is marketing, this is how it's done. And if the CEO, doesn't want to give us more budget, or if they can't understand that some things can't be measured or that it takes a while, then that means the CEO doesn't get marketing. But the thing is, the same marketers who say the CEO doesn't get marketing are the same marketers who aren't able to quantify and justify why the CEO should give them more or any money whatsoever towards marketing in the first place. They don't understand that at the CEO or CFO level, marketing is seen as an investment and not as a creative project. And as with any investment, there's an expectation to see returns. And if those returns aren't forthcoming or evidence that it will eventually lead to top of line revenue or top line revenue, then that's when they lose faith in marketing. That's why most CEOs and CFOs see marketing as a cost to be cut and not as an investment worth exploring. So basically, you have marketers that are living in the fantasy of marketing versus the reality of business, and therein lies the problem. Now, this is understandable. As marketers, we're creatives first. We like to create and build things that expresses who we are as marketers, and is a creative expression of our inner selves, right? And I get that because I'm a marketer, I'm a creator as well. I love to create things. Business is not something that we were taught, so it's not a mindset most of us are familiar with or readily have available in terms of when we're looking at executing certain marketing initiatives. Now, let me just stop right here and just say that, guys, I empathize with you. I'm a marketer myself. I've been there. I've been one of those people who, just couldn't understand why the CEO doesn't get it. Why is it that these people aren't investing in marketing? They just don't get it. So understand when I say I'm not bashing anyone, and that is not my intention. However, it really pains me when I see that we're so focused on the problems we have as marketers when we could be using that same energy to find solution to those problems. Because that's what we do for our customers, right? We identify their problems and we find the solution in terms of the products or services that we sell, how we position and the messaging for those products and services, and we communicate that value to the market, right? We communicate that value and make that connection through words and storytelling between the problem our customers are having and the solution or the offering that's provided in the form of a product or a service to them. That's what we do as marketers, right? So then why is it so difficult for us to do the same for ourselves with our internal customers who are the CEOs and the CFOs of the company? I made a commitment to myself when I saw this trend of saying CEOs don't get marketing. I made a commitment to myself that I absolutely refuse to jump on that bandwagon of saying CEOs don't get marketing, and instead decided to use that same energy into exploring, discovering, and bringing solution to us as marketers to help us grow and become better at our craft and to prove our value, which is one of the reasons why, some weeks or probably 2, 3 months ago, I decided to take an interest in learning more about financial statements, how to read financial statements, because I wanted to see how marketing could actually impact those numbers, to really prove our value through that data, and through positively impacting the financial statement, both at the CEO or at the CFO level. I mean, it's something I'm still exploring, so I'm still new to it, but it's what one of the things, or one of the ways I've chosen to come by a solution to this problem that we have. Because one of the things I said is, at the end of the day, us blaming and complaining isn't helping us, right? It's not helping our cause. And I love this profession called marketing too damn much, frankly, to see it being dragged into the mud by others who may not understand our craft, or those people claiming to be marketing experts but fail to deliver, and then have made it hard for the rest of us, to get the respect we deserve for what we do. So to help solve this problem, that's why I've created the Revenue Alignment podcast. And as the name suggests, it's about helping marketers learn how to be more business minded and aligned to delivering revenue for the company, and not just focusing on marketing metrics, but focusing on business outcomes that shows our value. Furthermore, how to better align with other functions that also contribute to revenue, whether that may be the CFO, sales leaders, customer success, product, whoever it may be. How can we better align with these functions, to deliver on revenue and revenue targets and revenue growth overall. What we'll be focusing on is, first of all, how to understand the different perspectives of non-marketing functions that influence revenue, and how to better align with these functions to get marketing buy-in for budget and marketing projects. Secondly, how to tie marketing activities to business outcomes such as revenue, focusing on developing a business outcome mindset. Thirdly, how to use financial metrics to make the business case for more budget and effectively communicate to senior leadership the returns on marketing spend tied to business outcomes. Fourthly, how to execute marketing using different strategies in a way that can deliver on those business outcomes. Fifth, how to implement systems and processes to effectively track and measure attribution of overall marketing initiatives to revenue and other business outcomes. And finally, how to use data. First of all, how to collect the data, and how to use that data to communicate findings and show attribution of marketing spend and activities, that led to specific business outcomes such as revenue growth. So basically, in a nutshell, the objective is to educate marketers on how to demonstrate and communicate our value at the C-suite level. I also plan to invite guests in different functions to share their insights and perspectives, as well as share my own experience, learnings and perspectives from time to time on how to do this. So, that hopefully can help all of us to learn and grow as well. So, my fellow marketers, with that said, next week I'll be back with the first official episode, with our first guest, as we break down how marketing can be better aligned with sales to drive revenue. So, until then, guys, this has been the Revenue Alignment Podcast. Take care, all the best, and that is a wrap.